The Peugeot brand in Malaysia has been enjoying sort of a resurgence. There's a new company that is handling the brand, and the Peugeot 2008 is the first model the company has launched just last month. In this video, I want to tell you how it feels like and whether it's worth the 127,000 ringgit that they are asking for the 2008. The 2008 is typically French and the typical quirkiness. Check out the shoulder line. It has been interrupted by this V over here. Well, it starts from here and then it goes into this, comes over here, and it expands into the front of the car. This plays tricks with your mind, especially when the sun is out, and it gives the car a very unique character unseen in any other brands. At the front of the car, you get this, what we have seen before, these triple LEDs which are reminiscent of a lion's claw, which is of course the emblem of a Peugeot. But then now this extends into the single LED DRL headlight over there, which is quite unique. I quite like it because it gives the car a very menacing look. This mega grille over here sort of complements the entire front fascia. There's no complaints, I actually quite like the front of the car. But this has got to be one of the biggest fuel flaps that I've seen among any car maker. It's not a problem, I just would like to point it out because it's mega, it's huge, look at it. It's bigger than my palm. Nice. From the back of the car, there's no mistaking this for anything else but a Peugeot. We've seen this before, the triple LED brake lights over here, and it gives the car a very unique touch, which is typically Peugeot. You also see this in the 3008 as well. So this is a design language within the Peugeot family. The 2008 is positioned as a B segment SUV, which means it goes up against the likes of the Honda HRV as well as the Toyota Corolla Cross. However, after driving it for a couple of days, it seems like it's lacking in a bit of space. Let me demonstrate, especially in the rear seats. Now, the front seat is adjusted to my height, about 6 feet tall, and I find this a little lacking in overall space. Can't really get 100% comfortable, which means that against the likes of the HRV and the Corolla Cross, it's a bit tight. But I love the fact that it comes with mega windows over here because it lets in a lot of light. So even though my knees may be lacking in space, but because of the amount of light that comes in, it gives it a very spacious aura. While I'm in here, I have to say that these seats are probably among the best in the segment. On the topic of spaciousness, from the driver's seat, you can see that my knees wish that they had more space as well. And the problem with this footwell over here in the Peugeot 2008 is that it narrows as it goes further in. So I can get somewhat comfortable up here, but my feet down there wish that they had more space as well. So on the topic of overall spaciousness, I would say that it feels a little tighter as compared to the HRV and the Corolla Cross. In terms of entertainment, the 2008 offers this cute looking 7-inch touchscreen over here. It comes with Apple CarPlay as well as Android Auto, which I find to be a must these days. But I also find one thing annoying because air conditioning, especially in Malaysia, tropical countries like Malaysia, is such an important thing. However, to access the air conditioning settings, you can only do it by pressing this button here and pressing it over here. This is the only way that you can adjust your air conditioning settings. You can turn it off through this key over here, but then to turn it back on, you need to press AC Max, which gets a little bit overwhelming. And to adjust the speed, can only do it through that. Not a deal breaker, but I find it that to be too many steps to just adjust something as basic as the temperature as well as the blower speed. The other thing that really irritates me, especially about modern Peugeots, is the steering wheel and how I can never get a clear view of the speedometer. It's not just me. I've read a couple of reviews that are complaining about the same thing as well. Well, the steering wheel takes some getting used to, and after a while it feels nice in your hands and sort of makes sense where Peugeot is coming from. But it interrupts the view of the speedometer as well, the general meter panel up front. And no matter how I try to get comfortable, like I can see this, but the steering wheel is not very comfortable over here. And if I push it in, it's just too far away. If I bring it closer towards me and upwards, can't see the speedometer at all. In fact, the only way that I can get a proper view of the speedometer is to put my seat further up, but then it compromises on headroom. So yeah, that's a bit irritating, and that's not something that is unique to the 2008. Seen it before in the 3008 as well. Like I said, general modern Peugeots have this issue, for me at least. But having said that, the general quality of things in here is amazing. For the price that you're paying, you get soft touch dashboards up here. I really like this 3D meter panel and how you get this space over here. These are things that you don't generally see in other car makers. These piano keys over here feel really good, feel very expensive. The dials too feel very nice. Everything in general feels very high quality, especially for the price that you're paying. Like I said earlier too, the seats, super comfy, very plush black leather seats with unique stitching. I think the seats alone look like they took a lot of time to make. The other thing that is not a deal breaker, but it sort of annoys me, because sometimes when we're stuck in traffic, I just like to hold on to the grab handles up here. But you'll notice that you don't get grab handles here, and neither does the passenger. This is what I suspect to be a sunglass holder, but let's see if it fits my Ray-Bans. Oh, it does. So yeah, that's for your sunglasses. And it's sort of weird because this is usually a place where you input your grab handles. The other thing that I don't quite, it's not a deal breaker for me because I never used the vanity mirror, don't have hair to deal with in the first place, but I suspect a lot of ladies may not like the fact that it doesn't come with a light, which makes this absolutely useless at night, especially because the interior lights are halogen, so it's not going to be very bright at night. Not a deal breaker, but it's the attention to detail that matters, to me at least again. The cabin might be a little bit cramped, but the boot space though, I find to be quite spacious. It's a massive boot space over here, good enough for a stroller and a lot more things. But I do find this cover over here to be a little annoying because it doesn't have those attachments and that string that pick it up when you open the boot. So yeah, I thought that was a little bit of an oversight. The seats though, of course, fold flat, but the latches are by the side of the seats over here, so those are best access from the passenger compartment. Quite a spacious boot. Peugeot 2008 rolls on 17-inch Goodyear tires, which suit the overall design of the car, but I do find these tires to be a little bit noisy, especially on highway speeds, where it can be a little bit intrusive and annoying in the cabin. They're not very expensive to maintain though, and that's a good thing. Okay. Peugeot 2008 is powered by a 1.2-litre 3-cylinder turbocharged engine. It's connected to a traditional 6-speed automatic gearbox, no fancy DCT stuff over here. It produces about 130 horsepower and 230 Nm of torque, which is not very powerful actually, but you do get that initial surge of speed because that turbocharged engine also uses dynamic variable valve timing, DVT. So it does have a sense of urgency to it. However, it seems to run out of breath pretty quickly. It does, however, come with 3 driving modes. It comes with normal, eco and sport. Each of these adjusts the way the throttle responds as well as the steering wheel feel. But The turbo lag can get a little bit frustrating, especially in eco and normal, when you put your foot down and the car just sort of takes its time to respond to your demand. However, in sport mode though, sort of fixes that issue. But it's not to say that it's extremely powerful actually. Like I said, you do get that surge of speed, but it runs out of breath pretty quickly. It also has a top speed, a claimed top speed of 199 kilometers per hour, which for this day and age isn't very quick, but you really shouldn't be testing whether that top speed is true or not. In terms of handling though, I find that the 2008 is pretty sweet around the corners. Peugeot is ultimately the brand behind such greats has like the 208 GTI. So when it comes to building great handling cars, Peugeot knows a thing or two about doing stuff like that. It also knows how to make pretty good fuel consumption in their cars as well. The 2008 has a claimed fuel consumption of 4.5 litres per 100 kilometer. It's connected to a 44 litre tank. So a theoretical range of nearly 1000 km if my maths is right. I didn't really do very well in maths class anyway, so I'll let you figure out the range. It has a very unique feature. It's not unseen in any other car. There are plenty of cars that offer this, but the walk-away auto-lock feature is quite cool. Now watch this. If I walk away, the car will lock by itself. And if I walk back to the car, it'll unlock by itself. That's pretty cool. But other car makers also have this. I do find this feature to be quite handy, especially for women with their keys stuck deep inside their handbags. So that's it for the 2008. It's actually quite a unique car for 127,000 ringgit. It also comes with all the safety suites that you can think of, such as 5 airbags. It also has traction control, ABS, slide control, and everything else that you'll need in a proper smallish B segment SUV. All in all, I think it's quite a nice car to drive, especially if you're a bit, on the smallish side, because that interior is probably the only thing that I do not quite like, because I find it to be a little bit too cramped. But otherwise, all in all, I think it's a very nice car. Also, with the new distributor here in Malaysia, I do suspect that they're going to offer quite a good after-sales service, which is the most important thing when owning a car. Thank you for watching. I am Cashy Dillon and this is Piston.my. And if you like what you see here today, do consider subscribing. Thank you.